Hello everyone, it's the 30th of March 2024. I'm Gary Waterman, a former police officer, a Christian and a victim of the system of fraud that relates to the taxation system and real estate, but very worryingly links to an international child trafficking ring and links back to our own government officials. It's really quite serious. This video is incredibly important, but I do suggest you watch some of my other ones and you can find them on YouTube on @GaryTruthSetsUsFree. That's @GaryTruthSetsUsFree. You can also email me on GaryTheTruthSetsUsFree@gmail.com. That's GaryTheTruthSetsUsFree@gmail.com. There is a document file link that is also now available, and I will put all of this information in the description of this video. However, if you recall a while ago, if you've seen my other videos, I suggested that maybe an extra effort now to remove cash from society and implement a digital currency system. Unfortunately, my fears appear to have been fulfilled, or might have come true. You will see from this video that it appears that the SWIFT international transaction system is now in the process of transferring over to a central bank digital currency system using blockchain technology. Now, why is this a problem? Well, it's a huge problem because the SWIFT international transaction system itself was set up with fraudulent entity companies. It should never have been trading, and most banks use that system. Okay, now if it means they've been involved in that fraudulent system without digital currency, imagine what they can do with digital currency. At the moment, you and I have the ability to withhold our taxes as a peaceful protest to any government policies, for example, that we don't agree with, that they don't consult us on, and we can go and use cash to survive if they freeze our accounts or whatever. If they remove cash, that ability will not be there, okay? And therefore, they could freeze accounts and we would have no access to funds to survive, okay? So we don't have that ability to peacefully protest. Now, this is huge because, for example, if the government carry out any unlawful acts or anything we disagree with without our consultation, there's nothing we can do to stop it, such as reducing the age of sexual consent, to 10, which is what they appear to have been looking at doing very not so long in the distant past. Okay, that clearly cannot happen. Most of us know a 10-year-old is not capable of making the decision to have sex or do anything else sexually with somebody of a higher age, or anybody for that fact. But it appears the government actually will be considering doing this. Just look at, if you don't believe me, have a look at Harriet Harman paedophile scandal back in the 70s and 80s. Okay, have a look at that. It was clear that the government was testing the water to see if the public would accept or consider accepting the age of sexual consent being lowered to 10. Okay, have a look at that if you don't believe me. They are still MPs. Okay, Harriet Harman is still an MP. She's the only one out of 650 or so MPs that has even responded to me, but not in the right way, saying that I'm not a constituent of hers. Even my own MP has not responded. They know how big this is. No MPs are responding. The police are not responding. The bank has not responded regarding the fake bank documents. The action fraud has not responded. Social services aren't responding to serious concerns being raised, okay, about certain children now in the care sector. Nobody is responding. Okay, they are hoping to remove cash and ensure that this system of fraud continues, but also that any other sinister methods or means or crimes or activities can then utilize this system and cannot be stopped. It's as simple as that, guys. You need to really understand this. Now, you'll see from the video that there's a suggestion this is going to be in place in the next year or two. So we have to act incredibly quickly to stop this happening. It can't happen, guys. Anyway, watch the video, please. And I've shown some other evidential links from previously in here because it's relevant to this as well. Please apply the pressure as much as you can to your MPs, politicians, peacefully. It's important everything is peaceful, respectful, okay, so that we can show that we've exhausted all efforts to stop this continuing. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back. I have very interesting news for you today, and I wish that what I'm about to share with you was not true, but it is. All of us realized that this was just a matter of time, and the question was never if, it was when. The largest financial services transfer system, SWIFT, which by the way stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, a Belgian company, just like Euroclear, if you want to go ahead and connect the dots. So SWIFT just announced its intention to launch new central bank digital currency platform in 12 to 24 months from now. So in a year to 2 years, all ducks will be in a row and every single thing will be ready for us to be under full and complete control of our governments. That's what this means. I will remind you that since I started researching CBDCs and actively posting videos on it, the timeline has shifted dramatically. Just a little over a year ago, think about it, just a little over a year ago, vague statements made by the Bank for International Settlements as well as a group of political leaders worldwide, the majority of whom were from the United States and Europe, of course, said, oh, you know what, we're not really sure if we even need digital currencies, we're still thinking about it, we're developing legal framework, we're discussing it, it may not even happen, so don't worry about it. Well, just last week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell echoed that, and he gave an extremely vague, I would even go as far as to say, quite embarrassing for a person of his position answer when asked about the Fed's progress on the digital dollar. You can watch the full video with Powell's response over on my Substack, by the way, but here is a short version.
A conclusion that we should propose, or anything like that, that Congress consider legislation to authorize a digital dollar. And it would take legislation by Congress signed by the president to give us the ability to do what we think of as a CBDC, which is really a retail CBDC with the public of it. So we're just a long, long way from that.
And here we are a week later, finding out that SWIFT is launching CBDC platform within the next 2 years. And it might be safe to assume that if this announcement has already been made, the platform is ready to go. It's been tested and they're ready to roll it out. In fact, nobody is hiding this anymore. For example, a recent report reads, Global Bank Messaging Network SWIFT is planning a new platform in the next 1 to 2 years to connect the wave of central bank digital currencies now in development to the existing finance system. This, of course, means that we will see a wave of CBDCs launched by major economies within the next year or two. The move, which would be one of the most significant yet for the CBDC ecosystem, given SWIFT's key role in global banking, is likely to be fine-tuned to when the first major ones are launched. I will remind you that SWIFT has a truly massive network. It is being used in 200 countries, and it is the platform for nearly 1,000 banks worldwide. The report then goes on to explain that around 90% of the world's central banks are now exploring digital versions of the currencies. And I would like to point something out. When they write exploring, we need to understand that what they really mean is aggressively developing while remaining completely silent on the progress and the timeline. During the past 3 years, we have been given bits and pieces, in many cases conflicting and misleading bits and pieces of what's really going on behind closed doors. And of course, I would say that it has been that way by design. SWIFT said that its latest trial took 6 months and it involved 38 central banks in addition to a group of commercial banks and settlement platforms. Reportedly, HSBC, Citibank, and Deutsche Bank were involved. According to SWIFT, the pilot program was one of the largest global collaborations on CBDCs and tokenized assets to date. Central banks from Germany, France, Australia, Singapore, Czech Republic, and Thailand, among others, were involved. This trial run focused on making sure that different countries' CBDCs can all be used together, even if built on different protocols on different platforms. It also showed that they could be used in highly complex trade or foreign exchange payments. SWIFT said, and I quote here, "It's moving out of experimental stage towards something that is becoming a reality." So what does this mean? It means that we need to use the next, I would say, 12 months to prepare for CBDC launch. The fact that Fed Chair Jerome Powell gave such a vague answer without providing any valuable information whatsoever should tell us something. It should tell us that there's likely a very important event that should, in theory, take place later this year. You know what it is. And because the digital dollar progress is kept behind closed doors, it will likely be a surprise to us all and will provide a quote-unquote a solution to a problem. It's part of the problem reaction solution playbook. Swift mentioned a recent forecast from Boston Consulting Group that by 2030, around $16 trillion worth of assets could be tokenized, a process where assets like stocks and bonds are transformed into digital chips that can then be issued and traded in real time. Remember that for CBDCs to be rolled out, they will first tokenize all assets, absolutely all assets, to prepare for the digital currency launch.
We tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. How are you preparing? I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. Please show your support. It truly does go a long way. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, consider sharing it, and subscribe both on Rumble and YouTube. I would love to have you back for my next one. And if you enjoy reading, check out my Substack. You will find all of my links in the video description below. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.
Okay, just to corroborate everything in that video that I've just shown you, I suggest you go and check it yourself, and you can do that just to type in Swift changing to central banking system on Google or another search field, and you can see here that it comes up with an article from 5 days ago. Okay, and that's for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, which is what Swift stands for. So this is how worrying this now is. So this was dated on the 25th of March. It's now the 30th. Swift sets industry up for seamless introduction to CBDCs, that's central banking digital currencies, for cross-border transactions as the interlinking solution finds more use cases. Collaborative experiments with 38 global institutions demonstrate new use cases for Swift solution across the digital trade, securities and foreign exchange. Swift solution could enable financial institutions to easily incorporate CBDC and other digital assets into common business practices. Connector can interlink multiple networks and could lead to automated trade flows and unlock growth in tokenization. Brussels on the 20th of March, Swift today announced the findings of the second phase of industry-wide sandbox testing on its central bank digital currency interlinking solution, with the results showing that the connector can enable financial institutions to carry out a wide range of financial transactions using CBDCs and other forms of digital tokens, easily incorporating them into the business practices. It's one of the largest known collaborations in CBDCs. 38 institutions, including central and commercial banks, as well as market infrastructures, took part in experiments which found that Swift's solution has the potential to simplify and speed up trade flows, unlock growth in tokenized securities markets, and enable efficient FX settlement, all while allowing financial institutions to make the use of existing infrastructure. This clearly cannot happen, guys. Now, from that video, it suggests a year to 2 years. If this happens, it's game over. We already know that Swift was involved in serious fraud with Companies House, okay? They cannot be trusted to remove cash from society. This must be stopped at all costs, okay? Because we will be enslaved through this system that is linked to international child trafficking and every other crime that comes with this system. It must stop. Please go and look at this yourself. just to verify that all of this is true. Sorry about the news in the background. Just a little bit of research from previous videos to show again, because it's quite relevant to this. So back a little while ago, I think I publicised this, but I'd suggest you go and look at this. And this was from March 2023, an article on this website, payments, obviously short for payments, I believe that's the website. And Swift International Transaction System employed Graham Munro from the JP Morgan Chase company, okay, as a as being a non-executive chair of the Swift board of directors, okay. Also, they employed, now remember, I've acquired, which is now available to everyone to have a look at, forged bank documents appearing to be produced by Lloyds Bank. And here we go, they also employed Samantha Emery of Lloyds Banking Group. Okay, so that was back last year. Now, as you've seen, they are looking to introduce central banking digital currency. So let's look at, and I'd suggest please go and look at this yourself, do a company's house check on Swift UK Ireland Limited, and you will see that they were started up with Swift Incorporations Limited, a false entity company whose names on their incorporation documents have not even been registered with Companies House, okay, but also on their incorporation will be Jordan's or Jordan's and Sons, which are false registered companies, fraudulently produced companies. And this company, remember, Swift International Transaction System, is what most banks use, or many banks use, sorry, I should say, including what Russia used, including what Israel used, I believe, and Ukraine, America, etc. But America didn't gain access until after the World Trade Center disaster. But now this is a false entity company, okay? Because remember, if the incorporation documents have a company on it that are false registered company, an unlawful entity, then this company also becomes unlawful. And here we are. And this is the situation we're in. And now they're looking to secure this fraudulent system, remove cash, it appears, and this will it will then not be able to be stopped. It is a horrendous situation. They cannot continue with doing that. So you can see here, Samantha Jane Emery. I'm not saying these individuals are involved in fraud directly. I'm just showing you public information that you can look at, verify, and corroborate. And this is showing that various different banks are connected. Where is it? Different banks. We've got HSBC, all connected to the Swift International Transaction System, Bank of New York Mellon. Yeah, you can see all this, Bank of America, Bank of England, Global Payments and Cash, Deutsche Bank, they were one of the tenants of the World Trade Center. So you can see the implications of this, okay? Very, very serious. So I'm just going to take another look at the, I do urge you to go and look at it. It's within the document file, or you can look at the video for the World Critical Child Protection video and document that I've done. You will see here, now from the last video I've just done in relation to the National NSPCC, you'll see that a NatWest company was mentioned. We're looking at another NatWest company now, all around the frauds. There's fraud all the way through this, and this relates to the child protection issues, okay, surrounding the child that I was looking at. And you can see you've got a NatWest company here that links to a police digital company. Now, we know the police are linked heavily in relation to this system of fraud. I've shown that from the videos, the Police and Crime Commissioner's Office. Okay, the National Crime Agency with Theresa May, that Theresa May started up, the Royal College, the College of Policing, it's all linked through. So I just wanted to show you this section of the document, that NatWest is linked through to the child protection concerns. But then if we move forward, I want to show you the other concerns in relation to the new central bank digital currency. So looking further in the document, and please go and look at the whole document, it's a big one, but so this stems from research surrounding the Jersey child protection murder. In fact, murders appeared to have happened there. They've discontinued the investigation, saying there was no evidence to suggest it. But you need to go and look at the document to understand this. But this is important. So from the Jersey, the head of the family court's research, okay, surrounding Jersey, okay, and the concerns of child protection, it links through to, bear with me. Now, you can look at this in full, and I do suggest you do. But this is to explain the concerns with going to the central digital central bank digital currency. So very quickly from there, you link to Sir Josiah Mason Trust. Okay, it's a Mason, obviously. And again, you look at the document and see the research. That links through then very quickly to a Manchester Jewish community care company. Okay, and then remember, there's fraud all the way through this. 11 Degrees, Blood Brothers, but importantly, it links to a blockchain technology company. See that on the right? Now, my understanding is that the blockchain technology is what is going to be used for the central digital bank currency system, okay, and therefore remove cash. And this is just looking, and you can see it's based in California, this particular company, Metallicus Blockchain. And then it links very quickly to there's youth companies all the way through this. Okay, now remember, this whole document is about an international child trafficking ring, concerns of child murders, children being taken from the care service, and it links to blockchain technology very, very quickly. There's over 5 million companies, and you can see it is surrounded by young people, children's centres, loads of young persons linked to Jordans, psychotherapy for young people. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is you've got this very integrated, deep-rooted connection to child trafficking concerns through to this system of fraud and to blockchain technology. And also there is a Bitcoin technology, but there's also media companies surrounding it. Okay, and media and paedophilia. Okay, I don't need to sort of spell out what this means to you. Politicians, doctors. Okay, so doctors. This is all very close around that blockchain technology. So that this all means that their plan cannot succeed under any circumstances. Okay, and if you look at the World Trade Center video I've done, the whole concerns of Harriet Harman appearing to test the water to reduce the sexual age of consent to 10. You know, and this, sorry, I'm just going forward, and it shows links through then to My Building again. Remember, I've just mentioned that Deborah Fleming and her husband, John Fleming, I have to mention them now, they're giving me no option, are appearing to be linked to JP Morgan through a company called Fleming & Co. And also to Ian Fleming, who was an MI6 agent. There's a suggestion that the CIA are involved in this. This has to stop, guys. And it links very closely through to Dorset, which is where I'm from. And Ghislaine Maxwell, etc. All links the way through. So hopefully that will make sense. In short, what they're planning is basically going to be the end, I think, if we do not stop it. And that is within a year. Probably less. They probably said a year to 2 years, but they're probably looking to implement this even sooner. It cannot happen. God bless you all.